Thank you for tuning in again. I'm Jamie Strong, and this is my brother Elijah Israel joining us. He's actually reading for us today. And we did part one of this series showing you who you are as Israelites. And if you got this tape from me or from any brother, it's because you are definitely an Israelite, or you are thought to be of an Israelite, which are the so-called black people, not Africans, but anybody other than Africans, so-called black people and Hispanics and Native American Indians, the real indigenous people. And when we say Hispanics, we are not talking about the Spaniards. The Spaniards were not considered Hispanics. They are Spaniards. They're two different people. Spaniards are considered to be Edomites, and Hispanics, who are basically a downgrade version of those people who are truly Israelites, though, by birthright. All right, so we're going to start, first of all, today telling you, because you have to know what sin is. Most people, if you ask anybody what sin is, they can't tell you all. They'll tell you sinful things, but they won't be able to define it for you. So let's start with that, showing you what God, how he defines the whole idea of sin. And we're going to start with this brother reading 1 John 3 and 4. What is sin?
1 John chapter 3 and verse 4. Whosoever committeth sin,
Whoever committeth sin,
transgresseth also the law.
transgress the law.
For sin is the transgression of the law.
So sin is transgression of the law. So sin is breaking the laws of God. That is sin. If I do something that you don't like, if it's not one of the laws against the law, then I'm not sinning, whether you like it or not. If I can do anything I want to do to you, and if it's not something that is unlawful within God's 613 laws, it is not a sin. And they lied to you when they told you there were only 10 commandments. They lied to you. There are more than 10 commandments. Those are just the basic commandments that they were given because they were so out of control, and God had to get them in order, the mighty Yah. So let's go to Romans. We'll do Romans 4:15. So now we know that sin is transgression of the law, or sin is breaking the law of God. So let's go to Romans 4:15.
Romans chapter 4 and verse 15. Because the law worketh wrath, for where no law is, there is no transgression.
Read that again, bro.
Because the law worketh wrath, for where no law is, there is no transgression.
So if there's no law, there's no sin. If there's no law, there cannot be a sin. If you do something that's not against a law that's already established, you have not sinned. That is a fact according to God. Now, most preachers, if you ask this, what is the love of God? How do you love God? What do you do to show God that you love him? If someone asks you, do you love God? What would you say? Would you say you love God? Would you say you do not love God? Now, this is, first of all, at this point, you must understand you're an Israelite. And if you're an Israelite and you don't love God, then you have a problem. So let's find out how we love. Let's go to John 14:15. Let's go to John 14. Let's see what the Most High God say. If you truly love him, this is what God says.
John chapter 14, verse 15. If ye love me, keep my commandments.
Now, they teach you don't have to keep the commandments anymore. They teach you don't have to keep the commandments anymore. Read that again, brother.
1 John chapter 14, verse 15. If ye love me, keep my commandments.
If you love him, keep his commandments. Remember, this is the reason why we are punished right now, because we didn't keep his commandments. That's the reason we're punished right now. And also, let's go to 1 John 2:4. Is something you want to read about that? You good?
Yeah, I got something.
Okay.
1 John chapter 5 and verse 3. For this is the love of God.
This is the love of God.
That we keep his commandments.
Right.
And his commandments are not grievous.
Right. That means that they're not something that you do because you just have to do. You have to do this because you want to do this. Read that one more time, bro.
1 John chapter 5 and verse 3. For this is the love of God.
This is how God defines love.
That we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous.
Right. Now, how can you say you love God when you don't even know God? So ask your preacher, your pastor, ask your mom, your dad, do you know God? This is what God says about that. 1 John 2:4.
1 John chapter 2 and verse 4. He that saith, I know him, and keepeth not his commandments, is a liar.
If you say you know God and you do not keep his commandments and all of them, you are a liar. And what, brother?
And the truth
And the truth
is not in him.
ain't even in you. You are a blatant liar. If you say you know God and you do not keep his commandments, you are a liar and the truth is not in you. But this can change. This can change if you just respect what God is telling you. Just respect the laws. Now, we all know that we're supposed to honor the Sabbath. We've all heard that. It's one of the 10 commandments. I think it's number 4, one of the 10 commandments, that we honor the Sabbath. And we don't do that, but we must do that. It's part of the commandments. We must. Now, a lot of us don't even know when that is. Some of us who are mildly informed may say, okay, it's on Saturday. And some of us who are grossly informed will say it's on Sunday. Now, if you look at the calendar, the first day everybody knows starts on Sunday. So the 7th day, Sabbath the 7th, which is Saturday. But here's the thing. Your enemy, and we've established your enemy word, your worst enemy on this earth, and I'm going to say it blatantly. Your worst enemy on this earth is the white man. I'm going to show you why, and I'm going to show you when that happened. That the white man is your worst enemy on this earth. They changed laws and times. They changed these things. Now, white man tells you the 12 o'clock a.m., that's when your next day starts. 12 o'clock in the middle of the night is when the next day starts. And I hear people say it all the time. I got home around 12 o'clock midnight on a Tuesday. No, you got home on Wednesday. The next day started at 12 a.m. Let's read what the Most High says about that. We're going to go to Genesis 1 and 5. And everything is explained in your Bible, but we just don't take time to read this. Because at one time, remember, if a black man read the Bible, he will die or get beat.
That's right.
It's a reason he didn't want you to read. He didn't want you to know who you were. All right, this is Genesis 1 and 5.
Genesis chapter 1 and verse 5. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day.
This is the first day, Genesis 1 and 5. Do you understand that? Read that one more time.
And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night.
Right.
And the evening and the morning were the first day.
From that evening to that morning, that's the first day. Do you understand that? The next day starts at sundown. That's when the day starts. The next day will start at sundown. It didn't say from 12 a.m. It didn't say that. It said from sundown to sundown. That's a day. That is a day. Now let's go to Daniel 7:25.
Daniel chapter 7 and verse 25.
And this is talking about Esau, the white man.
Daniel 7 and 25. And it reads, And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints,
The Israelites.
of the Most High, and think to change times
The day started at 12 o'clock midnight.
and laws,
Leap year and all this stuff.
and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of times.
He will have the power to do what he wants to for 350 years. That's what he just read. You don't get that because you're not understanding the word of God. That's what's going on. The white man has the power, and he's done these things. There's no such thing as leap year. There's no such thing as this. The Bible, and I'm not going to get too deep, but the Bible explains there's 30 days in every month. There's actually 360 days in the year, not 365. There's so many things that Edomites have changed.
364, that's right.
They have lied to you. They have lied to you about everything. About everything. Also, I want to, now, let's see. Right here, I don't know if you can see this, right here on the edge of the table, that's a fringe. And this brother's wearing one on the border of his garment, on his jacket, his shirt, excuse me. This is a fringe. This is a commandment that was given by God. This little fringe right here you see, and it has a border of blue on it. And you may see a lot of brothers wearing these things. And I'm going to explain why we wear these things. And this is explained in Numbers 15:38. And this is a commandment or statute and law.
Numbers chapter 15, and I'm going to start at verse 37.
Okay.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations.
Generation.
And that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue.
Ribbon of blue right on top.
And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that ye may look upon it, and remember all the commandments of the Lord, and do them, and that ye seek not after your own heart and your own eyes, after which ye used to go a-whoring, that ye may remember and do all my commandments.
All the commandments.
And be holy unto your God. For I am the Lord your God, which brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am the Lord your God.
Right. He said your God. And also, the word holy in Hebrew means separate. Now, you see Holy Bible, you see a separate accumulation of books. That's what that means. Separate to you. These are your books. These are your verses. They're for you. They're not for everyone. They're not for Chinese people, are Moabites, Japanese, Ammonites, Africans. They're not for these people. They're for you, the Israelites. And there are 12 tribes. And again, right across the bottom, we're going to scroll all the 12 tribes. The tribe, what you are called, so-called on in this system, and it'll tell you also who you are, what tribe you're from. And we're all from. Also, they told you that there's one pearly gate. That's what your enemy told you, white people. Told you that there's a pearly gate for everybody to go through. If I told you that was a lie, would you believe me? Let's see what the Most High says. Revelation 21 and 12. Let's just clear it up real quick. Revelation 21 and 12. Is there one big pearly gate for everybody to go through to get to heaven? Let's find out.
Man, sounds good, but let's actually see.
It make you feel warm inside.
Right. Revelation chapter 21 and verse 12.
Right.
All right. And it reads, and had a wall great and high.
A wall great and high.
And had 12 gates.
12 gates. This is literally telling you the kingdom of heaven has 12 gates on this big wall.
And at the gates, 12 angels.
12 angels at the gates.
And names written thereon.
And just so you know, these 12 angels at the gate, I'm making sure nobody get through the gate. They ain't supposed to get through that gate. Let's take them 12 angels again.
And at the gate, 12 angels.
Make sure ain't nobody getting there who's supposed to be there.
And names written thereon.
And the names written on the gates of each door or each gate on this big wall.
Which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel.
The names of everybody in the world.
Of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel.
White people and Chinese people and Japanese people.
Of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel.
Do you see that? This is the gate and the wall of heaven. The gate, the pearly gate that they told you there was only one. And you could best believe that Edomites told you this. They told you this. So also let's check out, let me see. Anything you want to add while we doing this, man?
Well, Revelation 7 and 4 also is a great thing to see that our people should know and understand. I'm going to bring that out for you real quick. Revelation chapter 7 and verse 4. Where's it at? And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel.
These are the saints. These are the saints the Bible speaks of. These are the elite of the 1/3. So there's going to be a 1/3 of Israel is actually going to listen to God, and 2/3 are not going to listen. And of that 1/3 that's going to be accepted and have the name in the book of life, there's going to be 12,000 of each tribe that he's speaking of right now. Read that again, brother.
Verse 4, Revelation 7 and verse 4. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and they were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel.
Right. Also, now we're going to go back to see what happened. How and where, at what point did the white man become your greatest enemy? Let's find out that out in Genesis. And we're going to start in Genesis 25, and we're going to start at 21. It all started, I'm sure you've heard Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. These were 3 generations of men who were promised by Abraham, who would have all these nations come out of his bloodline. And so we're going to take it from Abraham, Isaac, right in the middle of Isaac. We're going to start with him and his wife. And this is pretty much where the so-called white man came into existence in the earth, who will also, for those who have ears, is a reincarnation of what was already happened. It already happened on the earth through Satan. Anyway, we're at Genesis 25 and verse 21. We're going to read all the way down to 34.
Con. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife,
Isaac was begging and talking to the Lord for his wife
because she was barren,
so she can get pregnant. I want her to get pregnant.
and the Lord was entreated of him. And Rebekah his wife conceived.
The Lord made sure, say, because he's asking me this, I'll give him and let his wife conceive.
And the children struggled together within her.
Now she's pregnant, and she's having so many pains in her belly. Like it said, they're struggling inside of her belly. She's having so many pains. All right.
And she said, if it be so, why am I thus?
So she goes to the Lord and said, if you really want me to be pregnant, Lord, why am I going through so much pain? Why am I hurting so much if you wanted to give me a child?
And she went to inquire of the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
Was it 2 babies in your womb?
2 nations.
2 nations, Rebekah. The Lord said to Rebekah, there are 2 nations inside your belly. Not 2 babies, not 2 people, 2 nations. 2 nations inside your belly. All right?
And 2 manner of people.
2 different manner of people. They have totally different mannerisms, totally different type minds. All right?
Shall be separated from thy bowels.
You're going to have these 2 creatures coming out of your body, 2 manner of people, 2 nations coming out of your body.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people.
One of them is going to be stronger than the other.
And the eldest shall serve the younger.
That first one that come out is going to serve that second one that come out.
And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb.
Twins coming out of her belly, 2 nations.
And the first came out red.
The first one came out a redneck.
All over like a hairy garment.
Understand me, people. Understand me. This baby came out. Now, where do you think we get that term from? What I just said, redneck. Where do you think we get that term from? The first one came out a redneck. A redneck baby. Now, continue, brother.
All over like a hairy garment.
Okay, here we go. So it's got hair on it and it's red. It's red. Now, we know that there's no such thing as a red, like lipstick baby. But we know if you touch a Caucasian, only thing you're going to ever see is their blood because they are transparent. All you're going to see blood. That's all you're going to see. That's it. There's no color tone to that baby. So this baby that came out first has no melanin, no skin tone whatsoever. All you saw was its red blood. It was an Edomite, which is the first white person. All right?
And they called his name Esau.
Esau came out first, and it was a white baby. Esau. Continue.
And after that came his brother out.
Came his brother, the second one.
And his hand took hold on Esau's heel.
His hand grabbed Esau's heel coming out.
And his name was called Jacob.
Jacob.
And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them.
80, we know that's 60. Isaac was 6 years old when he had his son.
And when the boys grew, Esau...
Wait a minute. Did it say how Jacob looked?
No, it did not.
It did not say how Jacob looked. Now, do you understand why it did not say how Jacob looked? If you have ears, you understand what I'm saying. If you have ears to hear. Now, the only reason why it didn't say how Jacob looked is because Jacob didn't look odd. That's the only reason. If you want to think something else, go ahead and do that. Then that means you're not hearing the words of your father. The only reason, it had no reason to explain how Jacob looked. It had no reason because Jacob wasn't odd looking.
He looked like everybody else.
He looked like everybody else.
Yep.
He looked like everybody else. Just like me and his brother right here. This is how Jacob looked when he came out. He was not red or Edomite or white. Continue, brother.
And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field.
Love to go out hunting for deer. Sound familiar? That's Esau. Okay.
And Jacob was a plain man,
plain man,
dwelling in tents.
got his feet kicked up in his tent, chilling. That sound familiar? Brothers love to chill.
Yep.
Now, Esau out hunting for deer. Jacob in the house chilling. He may be writing poetry or something. He might be writing a song. He's in the tent chilling. All right?
And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. And Jacob sowed pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, "Feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint." Therefore was his name called Edom.
Now, Esau's name was changed to Edom, which later on he got his own land, and his people became the Edomites. That's why we call white people Edomites. They come from the land of Edom, which is the progenitor of and forefather whose name is Esau, whose name changed to Edom. Go ahead, brother.
And Jacob said, "Sell me this day thy birthright." And Esau said, "Behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me?" And Jacob said, "Swear to me this day." And he swore to him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way.
Lentils is like an edible legume, almost like a bean seed type food.
Thus Esau despised his birthright.
That's 34.
That's 34.
All right, now let's do Genesis 27:41 real quick to show you what Esau's mentality was. This is Genesis 27:41.
Genesis 27 and
to give you a little bit of
41.
Esau's his mentality.
And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, "The days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob."
So Esau had planned on killing his own brother, which he didn't, but he had planned on killing his own brother. Now let's go to Romans 9:13. Let's see how God feels about Esau, Edomites, a.k.a. Caucasians, Europeans, in the byword way, crackers. Let's see how God feels about these European people who dwell in the land of Edom.
Romans chapter 9 and verse 13. As it is written, Jacob have I loved.
Jacob I love.
But Esau have I hated.
Have I hated. God hates white people by blood. Now, we're not talking about physical white people. We're talking about people who is white by their father's right, which explains in Numbers. I think it's Numbers 11 or Numbers 15, where it explains the pedigree of your father.
Romans, Numbers 1 and 18.
So you are determined, your blood is determined by way of your father and your forefather. That determines your blood. So if you are Edomite on your father's side, it has nothing to do with your complexion, but if you're Edomite or white on your father's side, 3 generations, you are considered Edomite. And let's read Romans 9:13 again. This is how God feels about Esau, Edomites.
Romans chapter 9 and verse 13. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated.
So God hates. And not just, and you remember Esau is a nation. Esau is not one person again. Remember that. Esau is not a person. Esau represents a whole nation. If you don't mind, brother, let's go to Romans 9:15 and 16.
Romans 9:15.
Romans 9:15 and 16.
All right. For he saith to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy.
I will feel sorry and have mercy on whoever I want to feel sorry for. This is what God is saying.
And I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. So then it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of God that showeth mercy.
Right. It's not up to you or me. It's up to God who he shows mercy to. You understand that? Now, let's go to Romans 9:20.
Romans chapter 9.
Because we could easily say, why God is this way? Why is God make Esau if he's going to hate him? Why did God make this group of people you're going to hate? Why does he hate these people? Let's see what God is going to say. Romans 9, 20, and 21.
Romans chapter 9, verse 20. Nay, but, O man, who art thou, repliest against God?
Who are you to question me? This is what God's saying.
Shall the thing formed to him that formed it, why hast thou made me thus?
Should the thing had been formed by the thing that formed it, question it. Can you question what made you? Read that again, brother.
Romans 9 and 20. Nay, but, O man, who art thou that repliest against God?
Who are you that requires about what I do, my business?
Shall the thing formed,
You, who've been formed,
say to him that formed it,
say to God that made you,
why hast thou made me thus?
question him. You have no right to question God. And Psalms, the precept that Psalms 115 and 3.
Psalms chapter 115 and verse 3, you said, right?
Right. Psalms 115 and 3.
Psalms chapter 115 and verse 3. But our God is in the heavens. He hath done whatsoever he pleased.
17 also. What was one of that? 3. 115 and 3? Okay. Let's also touch on the, because we have to understand too, because I know a lot of people saying that God, he's here to save everybody and he loves everybody. He can't be that way towards Esau. And what we just read you that he hate Esau. We just read that. And so just to kind of be a precept for that, we're going to also go to John 4:22 to show that what you have. So h.o.i, who they ignorantly called Jesus, is not his name. The letter J didn't even exist 500 years ago. h.o.i said who he died for and who he gave his life for. In the Bible, they lied to you and they said he died for everybody. So John 4:22, let's check that out.
John chapter 4, verse 22. Ye worship, ye know not what.
You worship who you don't even know.
We know what we worship.
We know who we worship.
For salvation is of the Jews.
Salvation is for who?
Of the Jews.
Salvation is for everybody.
Salvation is of the Jews.
They lied to you. They totally lied to you. Is that it on that?
That's it.
All right, well, let's go to Acts 13:21. A precept on what he just read. Acts 13:21 to 26.
Acts 13.
Acts 13:21 to 26.
Verse 21. Acts 13, verse 21. And afterward they desired a king, and God gave unto them Saul, the son of Cis, a man of the tribe of Benjamin, by the space of 42 years. And when he had removed him, he raised up unto them David to be their king, to whom also he gave testimony, and said, I have found David, the son of Jesse, a man after my own heart, which shall fulfill all my will. Of this man's seed have God, according to his promise, raised unto Israel a Savior, Jesus.
Raised unto Israel a Savior. Just to add a precept on that, let's go to, and that was to 26, correct?
That was 23.
Okay, keep going to 26.
When John had first preached before his coming the baptism of repentance to all the people of Israel, and also John fulfilled his course, he said, whom think ye that I am?
Who do you think I am?
I am not he, but behold, there cometh one after me, whose shoes of his feet
We all know this story,
I am not worthy to loose.
right? Talking about h.o.i, who you
Men
ignorantly call
and
Jesus,
brethren,
right?
children of the stock of Abraham,
The stock of Abraham, the bloodline of Abraham.
Khan, and whosoever among you feareth God, to you is the word of this salvation sent.
So whosoever a part of the pedigree or stock of Abraham, to you this salvation is for. To you. The precept. Let's go to Matthew 15:24. Precept.
Matthew chapter 15 and verse 24.
15:24, Matthew. This is the King James Version. The King James Version. The New King James, they tweaked some stuff they shouldn't have tweaked, but King James Version. And if you can get the 1611, that has the additional 14 Bible books that they took out. Get that if you can. And if you have to get it separate, there's another book separate that they have, the Apocrypha, that has the 14 books in it that they took out. The Roman Catholic took that out.
Even on the first page in here, it shows you the diaphragm of how this was originally inside the KJV Bible. Most people don't understand that or know that. Let me show you that real quick, so people don't think that we're reading out of something that isn't supposed to be in the Bible. The table of contents here, you have Genesis, Exodus on down, then it's the book of the Apocrypha, and then it's the New Testament. So these were the 14 books that were originally in the KJV Bible. So if you're only reading the Old and then going to the New, you're actually reading a missed portion of the Bible, so your understanding of the Bible is going to be off.
Right. And this is the Holy Bible, King James Version, and it's 1611 edition that he's showing you.
Yep.
All right, so Matthew 15:24.
Matthew 15, verse 24.
This is the precept.
But he answered and said, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
He said, I'm only sent for you. I'm not sent for Chinese, Japanese, white people. I'm not sent for them. I'm sent for you. Now let's go to Joel 2:27. Joel 2:27. Let's check that out.
Joel chapter 2 and verse 27.
And I'm just throwing these scriptures out at you. You can pause there and look them up yourself so you know what's going on.
And ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am the Lord your God.
Your God, not everybody's.
And none else.
And none else.
And my people,
his people,
shall never be ashamed.
All right, let's go quickly. Let's go to Amos 3:1 and 2. And these are just precepts, just showing you little things, letting you know who God is God of. This is Amos 3:1 and 2.
Amos chapter 3, verse 1. Hear this word that the Lord hath spoken against you, O children of Israel.
You.
Against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth.
All the families on this earth. You.
Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities.
Yeah. Let me get you another one real quick. Let's go to Deuteronomy 32:8 through 10. And this is something very important for you to understand. This is Deuteronomy 32:8 through 10.
Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 8. When the Most High divided to the nations.
Now stop right there. You understand what he just read. The Most High, he purposely divided the nations. He divided us. Read that again, brother.
When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated
you here and you there,
the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel.
Right. Notice everything in the Bible is all circling around Israel. Everything. So I'm going to tell you, so you haven't figured this out, I'm going to tell you. The Bible was written inspired by the Most High, but written by and for and to you. Nobody else. Nobody else. Nobody else. Now, I'm going to end this like this. There's only one thing that you need to do. That sums up the whole thing. And the wisest man, Solomon, answered this question. So now that I know what I am, what am I supposed to do? That's the golden question. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. This sums up everything you need to know.
Yeah, the whole matter of the conclusion.
The whole matter of the conclusion.
That's right.
They will not tell you this in your church.
Ecclesiastes, you said, right? 12 and 13?
Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. And this is the wisest man ever, under h.o.i, that is. The wisest man on earth said this to you.
Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 13. And it reads, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter.
This is the whole kit and caboodle right here.
Fear God
Fear him.
and keep his commandments.
Keep his commandments.
For this is the whole duty of man.
This is your whole duty. Now, you keep the commandments or we die. Simple. There's only going to be 1/3 out of the people. 2/3 of us not going to get it. Only 1/3 of us are going to get it. And out of that 1/3, there's going to be an elite 12,000 of each tribe that actually it becomes the saints. They're going to be different levels of heaven. There's actually 3 heavens right now, but they're going to be 3 levels of the kingdom of heaven. There's only going to be 1/3, brothers and sisters. Keep the faith, keep the commandments. Don't work on the Sabbath. Don't buy, don't sell, don't eat pork. I tried to go some of the laws, but don't eat pork. You can look it up in the commandments. Don't eat pork, anything with any pork in it. Don't work, don't buy anything on the Sabbath. On the Sabbath, sundown to sundown, Friday to Saturday, worship, learn. And once you learn a certain amount, you get it, teach it to your brothers and sisters. That's your duty. Keep the commandments.
Right. Mainly on that Sabbath, gather with fellow like-minded brothers and sisters.
Right. Whether
that's your strength right there with fellow like-minded people. So.
And Acts 7:48, you're not even supposed to be in the church. You're not. Acts 7:48 tells you that we are the temple, brothers and sisters. We are the temple. Where 2 or more gather in his name, there he is.
That's right.
Keep the commandments, bottom line, keep the commandments or you will die. And time is ticking right now. During World War III is when it's going to happen. It's been told, prophesied. During World War III, that's when the Son of Man is going to come back and destroy this place. There's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of people out there teaching GOCC, h.o.i, the Watchman Reports, a guy named Adam. There's a lot of guys out there that are teaching. There's a lot of guys. So there's no excuse not to learn. Please do your research and do your homework. Everything that you've ever been told is a lie. Lie, lie, lie. As always, all praises and glory to Yahweh. All praises to the Most High, h.o.i. We are servants of the Lord, and we are doing our diligently duty. Happily, we give you this information. This information was given to us freely, and we could be doing anything we want to be doing. Me and this brother got wives and families. We could be doing anything we want to be doing right now. This is a Friday. We are here for you, telling you, keep the commandments, and you live forever. If you don't, you will positively die with your enemies right here on this planet. With your enemies. All praise to the Most High. Shalom.
Shalom.